Hey there, real quick before we start this month's session, a recording of IT Office Hours with Andromeda Technology Solutions. I just wanted to jump in and let you know about our upcoming session for November. That is going to be on Wednesday, November 20th at noon, per usual. We are going to be covering 3 different ways that criminals, or really cyber criminals and hackers, can get into your network at your business and cause some damage. So you'll definitely want to make sure to make this one. You can find the registration link below this video, and then without further interruption, here's IT Office Hours with Andromeda. Our topic this month is Office 365.
Good afternoon, everyone, and hello, and thank you for joining this month's session of IT Office Hours. I'm very excited to dig in today on some topics in Office 365, your business, and really just kind of some of the tips and tricks that I've learned across the way. And then also I would encourage everybody, any questions that you may have about Office 365, about different features, about things that you can do at your business, please throw those right in the chat. I do see we've got a few attendees joining now. I guess I want to start this off with a question like we normally do and just say, throw in the chat if you wouldn't mind. Are you using Office 365, yes or no? And maybe if you are, what's one of your favorite programs? And we'll kind of just kick that off, get a little bit of interaction going just to make sure I'm covering the topics that you guys are looking to get some information on. And then we will get things started. I'm seeing some stuff about OneDrive, SharePoint. I know we've got a mix of people that do have Office 365 and then some users who are kind of thinking about migrating to that from the traditional licensing. So good. I think I'm going to be digging into a couple of those things today, so hopefully you'll get some answers. And again, if you want to dig into a topic any further, if you feel like you want more information on any of these applications, feel free to either throw a question into our chat, or you can send me an email, or even just reach out to your account management team. But we'll just kick this off. So for anybody who hasn't joined us before, welcome. This is IT Office Hours with Andromeda Technology Solutions. I do want to make sure real quick that I've got, yep, okay, perfect. So IT Office Hours, what is that anyway? So we got together a little bit earlier this year and realized that we've got a lot of information and education available to share with our clients. And so we're touching base on things with respect to, popular scams, things that criminals are trying to do to cause trouble at your office, solutions just like we're doing today, Office 365 included, kind of just introducing you to some of the stuff that's out there and available for you to make use of at your business. We'll talk about tips and tricks again, just like today, and then here and there where it makes sense, we will dig into topics related to compliance across the industries that we service. So as I mentioned, today we're going to dig into Office 365, the solution, kind of a very high-level description of what it is, since I feel most people do have at least some familiarity so far with what Office 365 is and how it works. But real quick, what is Office 365? So Office 365 for Business is a Microsoft subscription-based service that includes access to different Office applications you're used to, things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and then some new applications in productivity. This is, business services, web conferencing services, hosted email, online storage. It's really Office's approach to trying to unify all the different applications that you're using onto one platform to really help you get more out of your software and your solutions. And they also, they make it easy to use, scalable by creating a subscription-based model. So the high-level features of Office 365, and again, I should mention there are a lot of different options when it comes to Office 365. There's enterprise-level solutions, there's home-based solutions, there's all types of different tiers and options available to you. Our clients on average use what's called the Business Premium or Business Essentials platform, and that's kind of what I'm going to focus on today, since that's the SMB market, I think it caps out at about 300 users, so anybody below about a user count of 300 could use that or one of the E-level or enterprise-level licenses. So high-level features of Office 365 are going to include Office apps for PC and Mac, like we mentioned, the Word, PowerPoint, Excel. You'll also see Microsoft Teams, things like SharePoint, OneDrive. Those are kind of the newer ones. Those are available to you for your PC and your Mac. You also get availability to use these applications on mobile apps, so on your cell phone, on your tablet, things of that nature. Included in most Office 365 subscriptions is going to be online file storage through OneDrive, and you do get 1 terabyte of personal storage available to each user for that. Office Online, so not all subscription models are going to have both the physical licensing, but all of them are going to have the online licensing. And then again, no more buying those expensive licenses year after year or every couple of years. This is a great opportunity and a great way to keep yourself up to date, to no longer have to worry about budgeting for those types of things, and to get those updates rolled out in real time. And then finally, kind of included in that, high level, this is a very scalable feature. You can add and subtract users as you go, and it's a great solution that's made to help grow with your business and help you get the most out of it. So with all those benefits, there do come a couple of different cons, and I did promise to talk about the benefits as well as the downsides, so I'm just going to cover a couple of those. So the biggest issue with Office 365, to be honest with you, is adoption. It's using it. There are a lot of features. It's a very feature-rich offering, and it's got a lot of different things, including, again, what we hear again and again, OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams. There's a lot of options there, and what we find and what Microsoft finds is that for all the users that they have utilizing the platform, most of them are only using about 20% of what it can even do. Another thing is, in some cases, if you're on the go, you may need internet to be able to access programs, and in many ways that's a benefit, but sometimes that can be an issue. It's subscription-based. Some business owners and decision makers don't necessarily want to be on something where they're paying month to month. There's fear sometimes about, what if we migrate to Office 365 and prices change or things of that nature. So for some people that may be a benefit. For others it may be something that you don't like. And then finally, one of the things I did read and I do hear about is just you need to be working with a partner who's going to help you manage your users, just to make sure that if you have employees, if you're onboarding new employees or as employees are leaving, you've got somebody to help you manage that, to make sure that you're not, number one, paying for licenses that aren't in use, number two, covering all of the security elements of things when you're offboarding staff. So real quick, I do want to cover a couple of the frequently asked questions that we do hear here at Andromeda about Office 365. And I did touch base on a couple of these already, but we'll kind of dig in. So number one, do I have to have an internet connection to use Office 365? So the answer is sometimes. Now, so basically to implement the product, so to do the migration, to set things up, yes, you will need an internet connection to be able to deploy the solution. After that, depending on your subscription model, Business Premium, like I said, that one includes an online application as well as an on-prem version. So you do not need internet access to be able to use the Office 365 programs 100% of the time, but you may need it to be able to access your files on the go via the cloud. And you also do need internet access to make changes to your subscription. So like I said, if you have users being added or subtracted, if you need to make adjustments to your subscription plan, you will need internet access to be able to do that. Another question we get asked a lot is going to be, how often do software updates work with Office 365? So one of the big pluses to Office 365 is that no longer do you have to pay or plan for these big updates. When Microsoft rolls out a new Office platform, you're not budgeting for that, and you're not waiting, trying to figure out when that happens. Those things start to kind of happen in real time, and that's one of the major benefits in Office 365. Now, so the one thing I will say is, number one, Microsoft is very public about the fact that they roll out updates and changes not unilaterally. They don't just press a button and all users get an update. They do that in stages and phases to ensure that there aren't any issues that are introduced to the environment. So if you ever hear about an update that you don't see right away, I would encourage you to get connected with your IT team just to make sure things are above board, but that is pretty standard. Separately, the cloud applications do update in real time, but when you do have the downloaded on-prem versions of your software, updates for those are rolled out regularly with the schedule that you do your Windows updates on site. So for instance, clients of Andromeda are already on, for the most part, if you're subscribing to our managed services platform, you get updates in real time that are scheduled and maintained by our team, and so your Office application would also be being updated in regular time with those updates. So if there are any questions on that, feel free to let me know at the end, and I can kind of dig into that a little bit further. So another question is going to be, does Office 365 work the same on different devices? So one big and great thing about Office 365 is that with it, you get, it's 5 different devices that you can deploy the program onto per user. So that means that if you have a computer at work, you've got you can have a user account on that. If you have a cell phone or a smartphone, you can have your information on that. When you're on your tablet on the go, you can access your files there. Your laptop, you can access your files from there. Really, it doesn't matter the platform that you're using. Office 365 is friendly with most any platform, and you get up to 5 different use cases per user. So the big one, and where we're going to spend a little bit more time talking about Office 365, and I've kind of alluded to this already, but the question that we get asked a lot, or it's asked in many different ways, but I don't understand OneDrive, SharePoint, and Microsoft Teams. Help me understand how those work. How do they communicate with each other? How am I supposed to use them? So I'm going to talk to you about all of them, and then we're going to kind of break it down piece by piece. So first, I just want you guys to see, what do these logos look like? What are the programs that we're talking about? And I don't know about you. I'm a visual learner, so I figured this would be helpful. So on the left, we've got OneDrive, then we've got Microsoft Teams, and we've got SharePoint. These are the big players that come with Office 365 that you may or may not be familiar with, right? And I will preface this and just say that at the end of the day, with what I was talking about earlier with the 20% utilization, Office 365, the beauty of Office 365 is that it's a solution that's built to be tailored to your business and your needs. So I'm going to go over kind of the most basic and unilateral usage of these platforms, but there may be specific use cases for your business where you may use SharePoint in a different way. And I would encourage you to reach out to your account team, and we can kind of get you connected to some resources. I'm going to share some training portals and things with you at the end of this session so that you can dig in as well. But again, if you have any other questions or if you have a specific use case that you want to dig into with us, please feel free to reach out. So first, we're going to talk about OneDrive. So OneDrive, for all intents and purposes, is going to be your space, right? So traditionally, when you're going to be saving files on your device, you're saving those locally on premises, right? You're saving those onto the hard drive, on your laptop or your desktop. So when you migrate to Office 365, for most cases, you want to change from saving things locally to saving your files to your OneDrive account. That's going to allow you to be able to access things on the go through the OneDrive application, share things easily, and do all of the great benefits and features through Office 365. But that's that's really what OneDrive is about. OneDrive is your personal one space for you to use to upload your files securely and to keep them there instead of keeping them on your machine moving forward. Then we'll take a step out to Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams is very similar to some of the other chat and communication tools that you may be familiar with, things like Skype, which is included in some Office 365 applications and subscriptions, but things like Skype, things like WhatsApp, for instance, things like Slack, those communication tools that we're using right now, what Microsoft did is they said, hey, why don't we create a platform where, users in real time can pull in files and collaborate and work together and talk, and all of this can be done in one space. So Microsoft Teams is where you work with your team or teams that are based around certain projects, for instance. So I handle our marketing here, but I might be working on some market research where I need to talk to technicians and salespeople and other marketing staff here at Andromeda. What we would do is we would create a space within Teams where all of those people could be collected with documentation and process and procedure, and we can all communicate and work together in that one space within that application. Finally, we've got SharePoint. So SharePoint, I'd like for you to think of that as almost like it's a global solution, right? It's the intranet. It's going to function almost like your on-premises server where you used to save all of those files that would be used on the go or, not on the go with your teammates from different departments. That's SharePoint. SharePoint is built up of different lists, pages, and sites, okay? But SharePoint, again, so move forward. We've got OneDrive for just me, Microsoft Teams where I go to, not to hang out, but to work with my team on different projects. And then we've got the wider organization for SharePoint. So here real quick, now we're going to dig into, this is a blank slide intentionally. Now I'm going to dig into some of the features that I love about Office 365 and kind of share with you guys some of the resources that are available and the different things that we can learn and do thanks to the magic that is Office 365. So one of my favorite features, and we're going to start there, is when I'm building out slides and I'm building out presentations, I am now able to use what's called the very nifty design feature, which is one of my absolute favorite things. So I'm just going to test this out for you. So test for design. And so for anybody that builds PowerPoint presentations, this will be very helpful. Help me design this slide. Okay, so you can see I just created a slide in PowerPoint very much like I normally would. Then what you can see, if you can see my mouse here, I'm going to go over to the design feature, which is up here in your taskbar. And underneath design, I'm going to come over here all the way to the right to design ideas. And now you can see that, through Office 365 and through PowerPoint, I have all of these great little ideas. And shocking, the idea for my title slide for these presentations came from here. But you get all kinds of different ideas and use cases for different text, different images that you can use to create a presentation. And that, I think, is very, very nifty. So another thing that you can do with Office 365 is you can share files on the go securely with your team and people that don't belong to your team. So to do that, and so that this doesn't distract us, I'm just going to go up here so that it looks the way it should, right? Pretend I wanted to share this with another person on my marketing team. What I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the top right-hand corner of my window, and this is universal for, Word documents, Excel documents, PowerPoint documents, but I'm just going to navigate to this top right-hand corner here, and I'm going to select Share. Okay, so I can share this document within my organization, or if I take proper procedure here, I can actually share it outside of my organization as well in a secure fashion. So here you can see send link. People in your organization with the link can edit. This is important because we can actually change this to tell it exactly what we want to be able to be done. So who would you like this link to work for? Is it anybody with the link? Is it people in your organization? Is it people with existing access? Or maybe it's just specific people. And then here, I can decide whether or not I'm going to allow them to edit it, so you can actually deselect that. For instance, let's say I wanted to share this with a team and I just wanted their thoughts, but I didn't want them to be able to make changes in the document itself. I would deselect that to make sure that that was accounted for. And then you can do things like, see, again, allow editing. I can actually block the person from downloading the file. So for instance, again, I'm sharing this with somebody that I'm working with, but I don't want them to have access to the ability to download it or edit it. I would select that. But so let's say we're sharing it with people inside our organization. We'll keep that applied. Then what you would do is you would just start typing in the name of the person that you wanted to send the file to. So let's say I wanted to send this to my boss, our CEO, Jeff. I would select his name, and then let's say I wanted to send this to Carl, our sales director, whom most of you are familiar. I would select those names and then just either click send, or I could copy the link directly and then paste it into an email if I wanted to send it that way. Separately, if you wanted to share it outside of your organization, you would do the same thing, at least in the beginning. We would select share, then we would start typing in the name of the person we wanted to send it to. So again, I'm going to choose, let's say, my personal email outside of the organization. And I'm going to start typing that in. Make sure I type it all correctly. And then this is already in here because I've done this before as a test. But you would then just select the email that was not within your organization. And you would have needed to select in here that it would be able to work with anybody with the link and all of those goodies. But once that's all set up and you put in the person's name, it's the exact same procedure. You either copy your link or you just select send. And again, like I mentioned, this can be done in Word applications. I'm going to open that real quick so that you can see that it's the same. So again, share is still right up here. So you can share Word documents, Excel documents, PowerPoint documents, you name it, you can share it, internal, external. If you ever have any issues with that or can't figure that out, please feel free to just let us know. But that's probably the thing that gets used the most in Office 365. It's just that easy, shareable online link. So then next, I do want to show you guys some nifty stuff that Teams can do. So this is Microsoft Teams. I've made it full screen. I mean, you might not always see it quite that large. But so this is what Microsoft Teams looks like. I'll make that full screen again. And Microsoft Teams is going to be, again, it's a collaborative, unifying platform where we can go and work with our teammates to chat, to get into documents and make changes live, and just kind of to keep everything in that one space so that instead of having to bounce around into your inbox or from application to application, you can actually do all the work right here in Teams. You can actually do document editing straight through Teams. So just to kind of show you right here, these at the highest level are the different sites that I have access to in our SharePoint. Underneath those are going to be channels, and those are just going to be channels or groups of people that are working on things together. So I put this together just to kind of show you guys in real time. So if I were to go into IT office hours webinars, which you can see on the left hand, my mouse is hovering over it. I started a conversation about it. I linked in our SharePoint group, and then right here, I've actually uploaded a document. And to do that, I would click Files. This is where all of the files within that channel for IT office hours are going to live. And you have to upload those, so those are only put in here as decided by your team. But so you would upload documentation, and then you can actually go into a document live. So let's say, for instance, I was going to start working on next month's IT office hours, where, hint, hint, we're going to be covering 3 different ways cyber criminals can kind of get into your environment and your network and cause you some troubles to help you out. But so let's say I wanted to get in here and look at this, and I realized, oh wait, there's some stuff missing here. I want to make some edits. I can actually do that right in the application, and you might have missed it because I moved a little too fast. But if you click on the document right here at the top as it's opening, you'll see that you can edit. Okay, we're going to start editing. You'll also notice that on the right-hand side, there's a chat bar where anybody on my team that I want to pull in to work on this document with me can be called out, and then we can start collaborating. So to kind of set this up so we can do this in real time, I've asked Kate, who's one of our lead project managers on the web team, to jump in here and help me out. So I'm going to ask her right now to make a change. So I'm going to say, hey, and then I'm going to go @Kate. So you can see at the bottom right there, her name shows up. So I'm going to say, hey, Kate, would you mind putting the links to the cyber security articles in the second slide for me, ? Okay, so I requested that she does that. Here's slide 2. So here's a test slide with some content. Cyber criminals are no joke. This month we'll cover 3 different ways they can get into your business and cause headaches and stress. So if all works appropriately, any moment Kate will jump in here and she will start making those edits, which we would actually be able to see in real time. It appears that she mentioned me. So you can see she said something back, so here's the activity. She said, sure, can you give me 1 sec? Let's go back in here. You can see right here, Kate's in the document. There she is. She started to make her changes. There we go. There's the first one. I told her I see one. I see another. Thank you. All right, so all of that was done right in here, and I could call any member of the team that has an active license and is a part of our environment into the document to do live collaboration, which is very, very useful. So another nifty thing, and this is something that if you don't know this, I do apologize on the front end, but another really neat thing that Teams actually does offer is right inside of it. I believe if I type in this, let's see, search for training. Oh, sorry, right down here, the help section. Right at the bottom left, if you click help and you open that up, topics, training, and what's new are always available to you because like we discussed, one of the great things with Office 365 is it's always changing. New features are becoming available. Things are being added, subtracted, changed in response to users and feedback. So one of the cool things is, I mean, all of these different applications, they're going to have constant resources available for you, which I will show you guys and also link to in our follow-up email. But there's all types of resources for you and your team to kind of dig in and to really look at what makes sense for you with your use of Teams. But so here, available to you is some intro training. You can set up and customize your team. You can create channels. This is going to tell you how to do that, how they work, why you want them. You can favorite and follow channels. So if you follow a channel, you're going to get alerted of any different change and update that happens within it. If you favorite, it's going to prioritize it for you in your views. It shows you kind of how to work. You can also use a nifty new tool that Microsoft launched called Planner. That's kind of one of their project management tools that they're testing out right now. You can send and post messages like I showed you. You can tag people. You can upload and find files directly into Teams for collaboration on the fly. And then one of the other neat things that you may or may not know about Teams is that once you create a team and you invite your members, you can actually use video calling directly in the application. So let me just kind of show you what you would do to do that if you wanted. So as you can see, I was just testing some stuff out with Kate in a personal chat between she and I. But if you follow my cursor here at the top right-hand corner, at any time if I wanted to have a video call with Kate, I would just click that button. I can do an audio call with Kate from my computer by clicking this button. And then I can also share my screen. So for any of you who maybe have Zoom accounts or are using that platform, you may want to look into for internal meetings, switching over to Microsoft Teams to do that because you can actually do it right in the application itself. So one more thing I did want to show you guys, and this is just another way that I use Office 365 here for the marketing department. So what I like to do is I like to do a lot of my scheduling using live links. So what you're seeing here on my screen is just my calendar for our different blogs, emails that we send out. And so I do that across my team with multiple members. And I could just as easily be doing this out of Teams, but for me, it makes sense to do it in Excel. And again, that's the big thing with Office 365 is you really just want to use it how it makes sense for you and your team, how it's best for you guys to understand it. Because again, I mean, we can set things up in Teams, but if all of the users don't understand how to make that work, it's going to cause you some struggles and some hiccups, right? So here, one of the things that I do is I come in and I let my team know, you know, what's the topic that we're covering, but then we've got documentation that I actually put together for my team, and I include the link right here. So any teammate at any time can go straight to this document, and then they can click, and then the document that they need is right here. So it's, you know, it's all unified, it's all in one location, and I can keep my team working efficiently and efficiently, that's really the answer there, efficiently all at the click of a button. So where I'm going to end this session, and again, I'm going to send out these links to all of our attendees, but where I'm going to end this session is just to encourage everyone here and to inform you that there are portals and a lot of options available to you for on your own training and implementation of Office 365. Again, reach out to our team and we will help you and we'll walk through things and we'll try to talk you through best case scenarios and best use cases. But at the end of the day, I think where it's going to be the most valuable is for, you know, the master users at your business to kind of get in here and just do a little research. There's a lot of videos, there's infographics, there's training templates. Right over here, one of my favorite spots is the tips section because they're going to include kind of some what's new features across the different applications. This is actually really neat because Office included here, Office tips and tricks. They break that down. You can organize it either by the application that's being used, by the role of the person that's using it. So for instance, here they've broken it down. Here's how marketing people or marketing staff might use Office 365. Here's how sales staff might use Office 365, HR, finance, and then finally they do break it down by task. So if you're looking to share things in Office 365, here's the different ways we recommend you do that. If you're looking to collaborate with other teammates using Office 365, here's how we might do that. If we're looking to get the most out of our communication through Office 365, here is how we do this. Microsoft knows that the product is robust. They know that they have these adoption issues, and they recognize that especially, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams are just a little bit difficult at first to kind of wrap your mind around. So, that really brings us to the end of today's presentation on Office 365, and I would like to just kind of open up the floor if there are any questions at all. We can throw those my way. Here we go. For the licensing and the 5 devices, are you saying I buy one subscription and I can run it on 5 devices? Yes, but the subscription is user-based. So, for instance, I, Abby, am a user on, our global subscription, right? So I, Abby, through the login that I use to get into Office 365, I have the ability to download the program and use it on 5 different devices through my user account, if that makes sense. So the only thing I want to make sure that is understood here is you don't buy one license and have 5 people sharing it. That's a good question. That's something that I know a lot of people wonder about is like, so if I have the solution, how do we know where and what I can use and how does that all work? And the other thing to note as well is, like I said, different programs are available through different types of subscriptions, and that's a very custom thing that you want to look into. But most of our clients are using the Business Premium or the Business Essentials. Both of those include OneDrive or SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, I apologize. The only difference is that the Essentials only includes the online version. You don't have a download to be able to have Word and the Office Suite on your device. So if you want to be able to utilize the programs on the go, you would need at least the Business Premium. And I will actually, since I do have this up and I forgot, shame on me, here is my email. And everybody should have that because everybody gets the invitations from me. But feel free, if you've got something kind of a little bit more in-depth that you want to throw my way, you can send that to me via email, and I will get it into the appropriate hands here to get get you the answer. Can Teams be used outside of my organization? The answer is yes and no. So you are able to, I'm fairly certain you're able to collaborate to a certain extent with people on Teams that aren't on your subscription, but that's a little bit of a nitty-gritty question. I would need to look into your subscription and kind of get that answer back to you, but I will get that. I will make sure I write that down and get that over to you. I will follow up. But I know SharePoint, absolutely somebody outside of your organization, if you wanted to share a file, let's say, if like I was showing you, if you were sharing the PowerPoint presentation or a Word document or an Excel document, you can share outside of your organization, no problem. And I'm fairly certain on Teams because I know that people use that platform to have meetings with clients and things of that nature. So I would say 90% confident the answer is yes, but I want to just make sure. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in just yet, and I do know that this session went a little bit long. I normally try to keep these at about 15 minutes, but that's pretty hard to do when we're doing some, like I said, off-roading, kind of showing you some best use cases. So again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw those my way. I appreciate everyone's attendance. I hope this has been helpful and valuable for you, and I will be sending out a recording of this. You're more than welcome to share that with your team. Included in the email, I will, like I said, include those links to those training portals so that you guys can get up there and check stuff out and share that with your team. And without further ado, I will say goodbye for now, and I look forward to seeing you guys next month.
It's me one last time. I hope you found this session for the month valuable. I know it brought up a lot of different elements and pieces of Office 365. So again, I do encourage you to please reach out to our team if you have any special use cases, questions related to how Office 365 and the application should work at your business. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to make one last reminder once again for next month's upcoming session on Wednesday, November 20th at noon. We'll be covering 3 ways that criminals and cyber bullies get into your network and cause trouble for your business, so you'll make sure you want to be there. Feel free to register below or share the link so that we can share the education with anybody in the network that you think might find it valuable. I'll see you next month, and thanks again.